The movie kicks off with a view of Los Angeles at dusk before zooming in on two detectives entering a fancy hotel lobby. Victor Manning and Sarah Morris are on a mission to nab a dangerous drug lord named Tejo. But the second they step out of the elevator, they're ambushed by one of Tejo's goons. Victor takes him down without much trouble, but then Tejo himself shows up, and things get intense. Turns out, Tejo is a martial arts expert, and despite Victor's best efforts, he manages to slip away. A high-speed chase through the hotel follows, with Tejo showing off his parkour skills while Victor hurls furniture to slow him down. It works for a second, but Tejo bounces back and keeps running. This time, Sarah catches up and fights him, but in the struggle, Tejo grabs her gun and shoots her. Victor rushes to her side, but it's too late. Sarah dies on the spot. Fast forward 6 months, and we meet our second lead, Stuber. He's a super nice guy working at a sports goods store, but he also drives for Uber to make some extra cash. His boss, Richie, is a total jerk who constantly makes fun of him, even giving him the nickname Stuber, a mix of Stu and Uber. Stu has dreams of starting a spin class gym with his college friend Becca, whom he secretly has a crush on. The problem? Becca is dating a pro basketball player, and she sees Stu as nothing more than a friend. To top it off, Stu struggles to keep his Uber rating up because his passengers are just the worst. Meanwhile, Victor is still obsessed with tracking down Tejo. His boss, Captain McHenry, tells him to back off because the FBI has taken over the case, but Victor isn't one to sit on the sidelines. He's also getting eye surgery, LASIK, since his glasses got knocked off during the fight with Tejo, which led to his escape. After his surgery, Victor meets up with his daughter, Nicole, who reminds him he has to be at her art show that night. Since his vision is still blurry, she installs the Uber app on his phone so he can get around safely. Later, while resting at home, Victor gets a frantic call from his informant, Leon. Leon has some crucial info about a drug deal involving Tejo, but before he can spill the details, the call gets cut off. Determined to continue his hunt, Victor rushes out to meet Leon. The only problem? His eyesight is still a mess, and his driving skills take a hit. He crashes into bushes, barely avoids hitting people, and finally lands his car in a construction hole. With no other choice, he calls an Uber. Enter Stu. When he pulls up and sees Victor, he's impressed by his tough, no-nonsense look. Victor hops in and orders him to drive to Koreatown. When they arrive, Victor finds Leon dead. After taking Leon's phone, Victor leaves, accidentally stepping in blood and leaving a trail of red footprints behind. Back in the car, Victor checks Leon's call history and sees a recent call to someone named Amber Titties. Yep, that's the name. He calls her and gets an address to a club, then forces Stu to drive him there. Meanwhile, Stu gets a video call from Becca, who is drunk and upset because she found out her boyfriend has been cheating on her. She asks Stu to come over, and he promises to, right after dealing with Victor. When they arrive at the club, Stu realizes it's a male strip club, much to his discomfort. Victor finds Amber and asks about Leon, and she mentions a guy named Amo. While this is happening, Stu ends up getting relationship advice from one of the strippers. He confesses that he and Becca hooked up once, but never talked about it, and the stripper advises him to be honest about his feelings. Becca calls again, saying her boyfriend apologized but still wants Stu to come over. However, Victor isn't letting him go just yet. He forces Stu to drive to Long Beach to track down Amo, even threatening him with a bad Uber rating if he refuses. As they leave, Amber makes a suspicious phone call about Victor. When they arrive at Amo's place, Victor storms in and discovers they've been smuggling drugs inside a dog named Pico, who is now vomiting all over the place. Disgusted, Victor drags Amo outside and arrests him, shoving him into Stu's car. He hands Stu a gun to make it look like they're partners, but Amo quickly realizes Stu is just a scared Uber driver. Seizing the moment, Amo tries to escape by jumping out the window, and in a panic, Stu accidentally shoots him in the leg. Vic tries to squeeze some answers out of Amo, and finds out there's a heroin drop happening that night. But before he can get the exact location, Amo passes out from the shock. With no other choice, Victor tells Stu to drive to a vet he knows, where they get both Pico and Amo checked out. At the clinic, the vet removes the bullet from Amo's leg, and Victor, still eager for information, goes for his usual rough interrogation tactics. Stu, on the other hand, decides to take a different approach. He hacks into Amo's Twitter account and threatens to post embarrassing tweets that would ruin Amo's reputation. Freaked out by the idea, Amo spills the beans. Tejo's drop is set for 1 a.m. at a storage yard. Before they can act on the new intel, a couple of thugs barge in and take Stu hostage. Victor tries negotiating, offering ammo in exchange for Stu, but he sees through their bluff. They're planning to kill everyone anyway. Right when things get tense, Stu straight up faints, and all hell breaks loose. Despite his blurry vision, Victor takes on the goons while Stu eventually regains consciousness and crawls his way to safety. Amo doesn't make it out alive. In the chaos, Victor only manages to land shots where Stu randomly throws objects, but somehow they manage to take down the attackers. The last guy left gives away his hiding spot when he accidentally steps on a cat's tail, making it easy for Victor to take him out. Victor then tells Stu to send a message to the only number on the dead leader's phone. They assume it belongs to Tejo, but surprise, it's actually Captain Angie McHenry, who's chilling at the art gallery. Looking like they just survived a war, Victor and Stu drag themselves to Nicole's art show. Victor, still half-blind, bumps into everything on his way in, while Stu's odor earns him disgusted glances from the fancy crowd. He finally finds Nicole and starts ranting about what a crazy day her dad put him through. Meanwhile, Victor approaches her for a favor. He needs the key to her house so he can access his storage unit. Nicole immediately realizes he only showed up for that reason and calls him out for always putting his job ahead of his family. She scolds him for being an absent father and tells him to get his priorities straight. Before leaving, Victor hands her a gun for protection. On their way out, Stu takes Victor to his workplace to grab some weapons, but they end up arguing instead. Stu finally snaps and tells Victor that his tough guy act isn't working. He's reckless, emotionally closed off, and, most of all, a lousy dad. The argument escalates into an actual fight, ending with Stu smacking Victor with a bicycle. Just then, Richie storms in furious. But instead of taking more of Richie's nonsense, Stu stands up to him and quits his job. Richie, surprisingly, admits that he actually sees Stu as his only friend. Stu hesitates, but ultimately walks away after throwing in one last nice comment. With things heating up, Victor and Stu head to the drop-off location. Victor calls McHenry, requesting backup, and tells Stu to leave since it's too dangerous for him. Thinking his job is done, Stu drives off, but he stops to call Becca. He finally confesses his feelings, but also tells her they need a break. He needs time to figure himself out. He assures her he'll still be an investor in her gym, but won't be directly involved anymore. Right as he's about to leave, he notices a single car heading toward the storage yard, and something feels off. Meanwhile, Victor is waiting for the cops when Angie steps out of a car, gun in hand, revealing herself as a corrupt officer. She explains that the FBI took over the case because they suspected a dirty cop. Turns out, it was her all along. Angie and Tejo had orchestrated the whole setup to frame Victor, making sure Leon called him and planting Amber's number at his phone. With Victor's bloody footprints at Leon's crime scene and security footage from Amber's club, a known drug spot, it would have been an easy frame job. Before Victor can react, she shoots him, but just as she's about to finish the job, Stu speeds in and runs her over. Now under heavy attack, Victor realizes his eyesight has improved and is finally able to shoot accurately. He and Stu try to escape, but Stu's car battery dies at the worst possible moment. Tejo seizes the opportunity and sends the car rolling down a hill, forcing the duo to take cover in a nearby factory. The place looks abandoned, but they soon find workers hiding in a van. Thinking quickly, Stu makes everyone request an Uber, creating the illusion that a massive backup is arriving. As Tejo inches closer to their hiding spot, Victor drives the van out as a distraction, but it crashes, sending everyone running for their lives. Victor and Stu end up captured by Tejo, but the Uber drivers arrive just in time. Stu tries bluffing, making it seem like the cops have arrived, but one of the drivers ruins the act, and Tejo prepares to shoot Victor. Just then, Nicole shows up. She tracks them through Uber and shoots Tejo before he can pull the trigger. A final struggle breaks out, with Tejo holding Nicole at gunpoint, mocking Victor for failing to save his last partner. Just when it seems like history is about to repeat itself, Stu jumps in, taking a bullet to protect Nicole, giving Victor enough time to take Tejo down. Nicole stops her dad from killing the guy, and right on cue, the real cops finally arrive. The next scene shows Victor and Stu recovering in a hospital room. Victor, for the first time, genuinely thanks Stu for saving his daughter and even gives him a 5-star Uber rating. He finally lets his guard down and gets emotional. Flash forward to Christmas. Becca's gym is thriving, and Victor makes his way to Nicole's house with Pico. To his shock, he finds Stu there, and Nicole casually announces that they're now dating. Cue Victor's stunned expression. If you like this recap, give a thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. But seriously, go watch the movie. It's a fun ride. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content.